Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and once again I'm joined by Tony Haggerty to look back on that first half at Ibrox. Tony, very positive. The only disappointment, of course, is that we've not broken the deadlock.
How Celtic have not scored in that half, I can't believe. An inspired goalkeeper, Alan McGregor, that's what he's there for, but 38 and still producing top drawer performances like that, you have to hand it to him. But I don't think the Celtic forwards could have done much more than what they did. He's produced a couple of real class saves, but in terms of performance, you've not seen Barkas, you've hardly seen Ayer or Beaton had the header at the end there, which he should have done better with. But in terms of performance, I think Neil Lennon has been given everything from his players so far, and whatever game plan they have, it's working, but you just worry that they've not been able to score. You
do worry, because you and I were talking about the bad old days of the 90s where we've seen it time and time again.
Sucker punch.
And they had that sting in their tail. I don't feel like that is going to happen here. One thing I would say on your point regarding Beaton, we had actually just discussed how the fact that Duffy and Julian weren't playing takes away a lot of the aerial prowess in situations like that from corner kicks and set pieces. Beaton's not great in that position, neither is Chris Ayer.
No, it takes away your accuracy in terms of aerial prowess. Duffy and Julian, when they get headers in and around the goal, they usually get them on target. Either score or make the keeper work. And that was a big chance at the end there, and he should do better. He should score. Let's not kid ourselves, he should score, but there's no much to complain about there from a Celtic perspective, apart from 0-0, or you're probably going to touch on it, but the stamp by Morelos is,
We're 4 minutes into the game.
And he's probably got away with the fact that it's so early, but he shouldn't get away with the fact that it's so early. He has to get a card of some sort. It's a definite yellow, so it's a borderline red, because it's a nasty stamp. The ball's away, and he comes down kind of on his ankle shin, and it's and it's something that he has to his game. Morelos, we've seen it before. He just can't help himself, and I think he's got away with one there. And and people will say that, what about Sorrow? Sorrow's niggly fouling. He's eventually picked up a yellow card because it's just persistent. But that was a nasty one by Morelos.
It was nasty, and the frustration looking at it from that particular angle that it gave you there was that you've got an official who might be 5-6 yards away from the incident itself, Tony. He's looking right at it.
Well, silent partners, aren't they? Or they get involved when they want, I don't know. But in those situations, I'm always an advocate of, what do they see? Or what do they not see? So it's clear to you and I, and it's clear to him because he's standing right next to it. So surely he has to tell Bobby Madden, because Bobby Madden might not have witnessed it. I'll give Bobby Madden the benefit of the doubt, and I don't know his view of it. But surely that's why assistants were brought in, to assist.
Yeah.
Very nature of definition of the position. Assistants to assist. So do you know what to get involved? Is it too big a call? Too early? But none of these things should come into play. It's a nasty challenge. It's a scraper down
Dangerous.
the ankle and the shin. And it happened right in front of Neil Lennon. Neil Lennon's reaction told it all. He was going berserk.
Oh, absolutely.
So, it merits a card. To me, it's a yellow, borderline red, because it's nasty and he's nowhere near the ball.
The big thing for me as well, you're looking at who could be our danger men. Frimpong's one of them. Has he been targeted? Morelos has that in his locker. I think you've got to play on it. You definitely do have to, without getting involved with someone like Morelos. But he's the type of guy who doesn't have any kind of pause button or stop button. He just gets involved.
Yeah.
He's got away with a hell of a lot against Celtic. I remember the game at Ibrox where a stamp on Ralston. He grabbed Christie by the bollocks and all this kind of stuff, and he got away with all that.
Yeah. He's
got away with one today, but again, whilst Celtic are putting on all the pressure, there's always that niggling fear at the back of your mind. We looked at Beaton. I didn't call him a weak link, but he's the guy that actually has had a good first half other than that miss. And I don't see Neil Lennon making any changes, because what he's done has worked really, really well, Tony. Is it just a case of getting into that second half and approach it the way that we approached the first half? Because you've got chances here. I've got Lee Griffiths 4 chances. You've got a chance by McGregor, 1 by Edouard, and then Beaton at the end. 6 decent chances so far.
They've had some terrific chances to score and through some great goalkeeping. I wouldn't say it's poor finishing, it's just some great goalkeeping and luck, you know. The save off the post is a cracking save from Lee Griffith's shot. McGregor save when he touched on the post, brilliant save, top draw. And there is that nagging doubt at the back of your mind that are Rangers going to run up the park and snatch it, you know? And Celtic might find it difficult to come back into it because they're up against an inspired goalkeeper. But it is a case of it ain't broke. It doesn't need fixed at this moment in time because we've not seen Barkas.
No.
He's had nothing to do. We've not seen Rangers as an attacking force, you know, because they've not troubled Beaton, they've not troubled Dyer. And we touched on it at the start. Laxalt and Frimpong are getting forward to getting forward to effect, but not great effect or good effect the way you would want them. You know, Frimpong's had a couple of right good opportunities to deliver a ball and he's come up short, you know, which is what we spoke about before the game. Pick out players. See if you can pick out players, you're scoring, you know, because you've stretched them. And, you know, watching the highlights here, that's a brilliant challenge from Laxalt, that, you know, in a defensive sense, you know, because Morelos is away.
What's outstanding about that is I mentioned before we came on air about the fact that Ayer might have to look after Frimpong in that respect. Well, Laxalt's just done that job on Beaton. Beaton's not got the pace over 6 yards to get that back. And that was tremendous defensive play by Laxalt because, of course, you're one-on-one with Morelos, and there's no guarantee he'll score against us, like, you know. But I just thought that was excellent by Laxalt. And, you know, if you're going to look at the selection of him, he's already repaid the faith with that one challenge, Tony.
And switched on. Switched on to go with Morelos, mark him for match him for pace, and also switched on enough to slide in at the right time. No take the man because you're running the risk of 10 men, you know, with the denial of a goal scoring opportunity. So he did everything right there at textbook defending, which is maybe why he's in the team, because Lennon trusts him for things like that as well. You know, he's a wee bit more, you know, clued up or switched on. Yeah. You know, so I can only assume that's why he's in the team, because he gives you that too. And bear in mind, he's came from AC Milan, so, and he's a Uruguayan international, so he's a player of pedigree, you know. So I couldn't agree more. A brilliant challenge. And, you know, you're looking at the first half and you think, why are Celtic not at least 1, maybe 2 up? Yeah. You know, but you just hope that come the end of 90 you're no living to rue that. But there's only been one team in it so far, you know, and it's not the home team.
Absolutely not.
So you can't, if you're Neil Lennon, you have to keep faith in the system and say to the players, keep going, it'll come, you know, because the amount of chances that the Rangers defence has passed up there, you know, they can't keep surviving all the time, can't keep relying on McGregor to bail them out if the second half follows the same pattern. But you have to think that Rangers would come into it more in an attacking sense, because the manager will demand that of them. So Celtic have to be ready to withstand a wee early onslaught, because Rangers might think if we score first here, it's game over. Celtic won't recover from that, and there is that nagging doubt at the back of your mind that could happen.
There is. I mean, we were looking at the lineup. We were all very chuffed that Edouard and Griffiths started. I think that Edouard's had a disappointing first half, I would suggest. But what you do get from him when he's got the ball, when he's surrounded by 3 or 4, is it's opening up a wee pocket of space for Griffiths. So even though it's not coming off yet and it's not sticking with Eddie so far, you know that what he's doing is he is creating space for Griffiths in behind him. So I'm not too concerned about that, I've got to admit.
His distribution just has to be better. You said at one point that's cheap during that half when he gave the ball away, and that's what frustrates you and frustrates every Celtic supporter about French Eddie, because he does do those things that are unnoticed where he'll maybe drag a couple of defenders, but as long as he can get his toe away in the ball to a creative player or Griffiths and you get something from it, you know, it's no use him twisting and turning and nothing coming of it, you know. But he's in the team for that reason, though. He has class, and at one point it'll come off, you know, but he has to be more spatially aware of where people are, where Griffiths is, and, you know, just aware of where he is, you know, because you can't keep giving up possession cheaply like that. It has to stick. He's there for a reason. He's to link up the play. So you either link it up with the midfielders or you link it up with Griffiths. You can't keep losing it, but I know what you mean. It's those things, those kind of drop with the shoulders that take 2 or 3 guys out, which create the space, but you then have to shunt that ball onto somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be dropping the shoulder, taking 2 or 3 out and losing the ball.
Now, we were praising Ryan Christie before the game, Tony, as he just getting his sights lined up, because he's had a couple of chances. I think the second one opened up for him, in all fairness. The shot was on, first one was speculative. I wouldn't put it past him for the third one to nestle its way right in behind McGregor and into the net, to be fair. But a wee bit of that creeping in again where there's other things on. I know that Lee Griffiths was screaming and shouting at him on the second occasion. Christie hasn't been as influential as McGregor, for example. McGregor's had a great first half. I think Turnbull's coming into it as well. Sorrow is breaking up a lot of Rangers attacks, but in doing so he's given away a lot of daft free kicks. He's got to be wary of that now that he's in the book. But again, I'm looking at that side and I would make absolutely no changes at this stage.
It's functioning as a unit. You know, whatever instructions the players have been given, the midfield especially have been given, they're carrying it out to the letter. You know, Christie's been a wee bit wayward when he's shooting. A couple of the opportunities look similar to the ones he got in the cup final. If he gets another one, as you say, he might put it in the net. McGregor's now playing with a freedom because he knows he can trust others to help him out. Turnbull, I love Turnbull. I can't emphasise enough how much I really like Turnbull. He's quite strong in the challenge. He's won a few challenges there and a few balls back that when Rangers are starting attacks. Sorrow's just a wee niggler, isn't he? You know, he's a wee buzz bomb, and he's we were talking about before, his enthusiasm maybe gets the better of him, and he's laughing with Bobby Madden and stuff, which is good, because I don't want to see him go on the other side of Bobby Madden. You know, Bobby's counting him, because you saw him, I think he flicked 3 up at him, and then he gave him another one, and then I think he booked him on the 5th. So you know, and it's not for anything like Morelos' challenge. It's just wee nigglers, wee tugs, wee kind of shoves. But again, taught up procedure, you could walk, you know, so he has to be careful. Just, you know, stay on the right side of the law when you're trying to win the ball, you know. So, but as a functioning midfield, they've performed really, really well, and the only downside is that they've no goals to show for their efforts so far. But how could you change that team?
No, I know, because then you really do run the risk, because I would expect a response from Rangers. I totally expect that in the second half. Celtic are already on the park waiting on them coming out. But leading up this week, leading up to the game, Tony, quite a few of our pundits were saying, you know what, I'm happy with a draw at Ibrox today. I'm sitting at half time. I'd be disappointed at this moment in time if this finished nothing each, because of the superiority of Celtic in the first half. I
think Celtic would see it as a missed opportunity if they draw this game. You know, I think they've every right to think that they should be in front in the first half, you know, and if the second half follows the same pattern as I've said, then they should be looking to win it. You know, I fully expect Rangers to be a different animal in the second half, and it all depends how the defence can withhold that or repel any kind of Rangers pressure. But so far so good from a Celtic perspective, so you don't want to tempt fate too much, but they should be ahead. They know they should be ahead, so they're going to have to double their efforts in terms of just trying to be a wee bit more. I hesitate to say the word clinical, because there's not much more they could have done in terms of a forward position. I see we're watching the pictures. Yanis Hadji's coming on, so Rangers are clearly adapting their lineup because they're worried about what Celtic have did in the first half. So it remains to be seen how that, or if that change will affect the game. But so far so good for Celtic, and hopefully they can get their noses in front.
I hope so. We'll be here at full time to discuss all the action of the second half. Thank you all for joining me, and thank you once again, Tony Haggerty, for joining me on A Celtic State of Mind.